The forest was silent, but the silence was not safe. The human walked with heavy steps, every breath sharp in his chest. His body ached from the crash, and his arm still bled from the cut he could not close. The sky above was not the sky of Earth. It glowed with green fire and drifting clouds that looked alive. He was alone, or at least he thought so. Then he heard the voice. It was soft, broken, and strange. Yet he understood the words, "Please, let me stay." The human spun around. His hand reached for the weapon on his side, though it was damaged from the crash. His eyes found her, standing in the shadows, half hidden by glowing leaves. She was not like the humans he knew, but she was not fully alien either. Her skin shone faintly like silver under the green light. Her hair moved as if it carried a life of its own, strands floating in the air. Her eyes, large and bright, watched him with both fear and need. He lifted his weapon, though his hand shook. "Stay back," he warned, but she did not run. She stepped closer. "Let me stay here," she begged, her voice trembling. "I will give you what no white woman ever could." The human froze. Her words struck him deeper than any weapon. What did she mean? Who was she? She moved another step closer, and now he saw her face clearly. It was soft, human-like, but her skin bore patterns that shifted like liquid light. She looked fragile, yet something about her felt strong, too strong to be just flesh. "I am not your enemy," she said. "I was made to be close to your kind. I was made to understand you. But they abandoned me. They called me wrong, a mistake. Now I have nowhere, no home, no people. Let me stay with you." The human's hand tightened on his weapon. He had been trained for this moment. His commanders had said, "Never trust them. They will trick you. They will kill you when you sleep." And yet, he could see her eyes. They were not the eyes of a killer. They were the eyes of someone who had suffered. "Why me?" he asked, his voice low and sharp. Her lips trembled. She lowered herself to her knees, hands pressed together as if in prayer. "Because you are the first who has not turned away. The first who listens. I can give you knowledge. I can give you power. But more than that, I can give you loyalty. The kind no other woman of your kind would ever give." Her words filled the air like fire. He felt the weight of them. The human took a slow breath. His body told him to walk away. His orders told him to kill her. But something in his mind whispered, "If she wanted you dead, you would already be dead." He stepped closer, studying her. "You say you are not my enemy. Prove it." Her eyes widened. Then, without a word, she raised her hand. A soft light spilled from her palm, golden and warm. She reached out slowly, carefully, and touched the wound on his arm. The human gasped. The pain faded. The bleeding stopped. Before his eyes, the flesh pulled together. The scar was gone. He stared at her in shock. She lowered her hand, her body trembling as if the act had cost her great strength. "There," she whispered. "I could have let you die. Instead, I healed you. Does that not prove my plea is true?" The human's thoughts clashed like thunder. She had power, yes. But what did she want from him in return? "What do you really seek?" he asked. Her eyes met his, bright with unshed tears. "A chance. That is all. A chance to stay. A chance to live beside someone who will not hate me. If you turn me away, they will find me. They will end me. I will not last another night." The human looked at the forest. Strange sounds whispered through the glowing trees. Shadows moved in the distance. If what she said was true, then she was already hunted. His hand lowered from his weapon. For the first time since the crash, he felt less alone. Still, doubt burned inside him. Could he really trust her? Could he trust any word from lips not human? She leaned forward, her voice breaking into a cry. "Let me stay here. I will give you what no white woman ever could. Not lies, not betrayal, but truth, my truth. My life in your hands, please. Don't let me die alone." The forest fell silent again. The human stood, his breath heavy, his mind torn. Was this fate? Or was this the greatest trap he had ever stepped into? The answer waited in the shadows. And for now, he only had her plea. The night grew darker on the alien world. The sky burned with rivers of green light, but no warmth touched the ground. Cold air pressed against the human's skin as he sat near the broken metal of his crashed pod. He had built a small fire, though its glow felt fragile in the endless forest. Across from him, the alien woman sat silent, her silver skin glimmering against the flames. Her hair swayed in the air as though the wind moved through it. Though no wind blew, she did not blink often, and when she did, her eyes shone brighter. The human's hand never left his weapon. He told himself he was only being careful. But in truth, it was doubt that chained his fingers to the cold metal grip. He watched her closely. Every shift of her body, every breath. She was beautiful in a strange way, almost human, but not quite. Too perfect, too smooth. A design, not an accident of nature. His training screamed inside his mind. Do not trust what looks human. Do not believe their words. They are deceivers. They will wear a mask of peace until the moment they strike. But his heart whispered something else. She healed you. She could have left you to die, but she did not. The silence between them stretched long until finally he spoke. Why would you risk helping me? Why not leave me broken, let the forest finish me? The alien woman lifted her eyes. Her voice was soft, like a broken song. Because I know what it is to be left broken, to be unwanted. I saw myself in your eyes when you fell. Her answer unsettled him. Too human, too real. He tightened his grip on the weapon. You say you are not my enemy, he said slowly. But my people taught me different. They said your kind kills without mercy. They said you will never be loyal to us, that you are born to betray. Her head bowed. The patterns on her skin shifted like shadows moving through water. Maybe they are right about my kind, she whispered. But I am not my kind. I'm only me. The human leaned forward, suspicion sharp in his voice. And who are you? What do you call yourself? She hesitated as if the word itself carried weight. Then she spoke. I was called Soraya. The name slid across the air like a secret not meant to be heard. Soraya's gaze lifted again, locking onto his eyes. I was not made to belong. Not to them. Not to you. I was a bridge, half one, half the other. But both sides saw me as wrong. So I ran, I hid. And now, I beg. Her words pierced his thoughts like thorns. She was confessing weakness, but what if it was only a story? What if she spoke this way to trap him? His mind spun. His orders said, kill her. End the threat. But his wounds said, she saved you. His loneliness said, you will not survive here alone. The fire cracked. The shadows around them twisted. Strange cries echoed in the distance, long and sharp like metal tearing. The human turned his head quickly, his hand ready to draw. Soraya did not move. She only watched him, her expression calm but her body tense, as though she felt the danger in the forest too. You hear it? He asked. She nodded slowly. They hunt, always hunting. If they find us, they will not ask questions. They will not show mercy. To them, you are prey. To them, I am worse, the human frowned. Worse? Her voice lowered, heavy with shame, because I do not belong. I am not pure. To them, I am a crime that must be erased. Her words should have made him feel safe. If they hated her, maybe she could not be trusted by them. But instead, the human felt something different, pity. He did not want to feel it. Pity was weakness. And yet her voice carried such weight it cracked the armor he had built inside his heart. He wanted to ask more, but stopped himself. Doubt still coiled around him like a snake. He studied her again, her silver skin reflecting the fire, her strange glowing eyes locked onto him. Finally, he said, if I keep you here, they will come for you. That means they will come for me too. You put me in danger. Her lips curved, not into a smile, but into something fragile. Yes, I put you in danger. But I also give you more. I give you a chance. Alone you will die. With me, maybe you live. Maybe we both live. The human stared into the fire, the crackling wood filling the silence. Her words wrapped around his mind. Danger and survival. Death and chance, his orders had always been simple. But nothing about this moment was simple. Soraya, he said, testing the sound of her name. I don't trust you. She closed her eyes, a small tear sliding down her strange skin. I do not ask for trust, she whispered. Only a chance to prove myself. Keep your weapon. Keep your doubt. But let me stay. The firelight danced between them. The forest cried again. And inside the human's chest, war raged, between duty and survival, between hate and need. He did not lower his weapon. But he did not raise it either, for now that was his choice. And Soraya, the alien woman, stayed. The fire had burned low, its last sparks fading into the soil. Morning on the alien world was strange. Light did not rise like on Earth. Instead, the sky cracked open with rivers of red, spilling across the forest canopy as if blood flowed above. The human tightened the straps of his damaged pack. His muscles ached, but the wound on his arm was gone. healed by Soraya's strange touch. Still, doubt gnawed at him. Every step with her at his side felt like a step toward danger. "Where are we going?" he asked, his voice rough from the cold night. Soraya walked a few steps ahead, her bare feet silent on the glowing moss. Her silver skin shimmered faintly. "There is a ridge," she said softly. "High ground. From there, you can see the crash site. You will know where your people might come. And you?" His tone was sharp. She glanced back, her glowing eyes meeting his. "If they come, they will not welcome me, but I will stay near you. I promised." Her promise felt like a chain and a shield at the same time. He followed, but his hand never left his weapon. The forest was alive with sounds he could not name. Low groans, cracks of branches, hisses that rolled like whispers. Strange insects buzzed with metallic wings. Trees leaned unnaturally, their bark glowing with pulses of light as if the forest itself breathed. The humans' instincts sharpened. "Something watched them. Keep moving," Soraya urged, her voice urgent now. "They smell fear," he frowned. "What do you mean?" A shriek cut through the air, high and violent. The ground shook. From the shadows between the trees, a beast emerged. It was massive. 4 legs long like a predator's, its body covered in black armor that reflected the red sky. Its mouth split into 4 jaws, each filled with sharp teeth. Its eyes burned with pale blue fire. The human raised his weapon instantly, aiming at its chest. The beast growled, stepping closer. The air grew thick, heavy with its presence. Soraya stepped forward. Her hands glowed with faint light. "Don't waste your bullets," she warned. "Their hide is stronger than steel." The beast lunged. The human fired anyway. The shot cracked like thunder, the sound echoing through the forest. The bullet hit the creature's chest, sparking, but it barely slowed. The beast roared, charging. The ground trembled under its weight. The human braced for death. But Soraya moved faster. Her body glowed bright, and she thrust her hands toward the beast. A surge of golden light exploded from her palms, striking the monster's head. The creature screamed, its body convulsing as the light tore through it. Then with a crash, it collapsed to the ground, smoke rising from its burning flesh. The forest fell silent again, but the silence was worse than the roar. The human stared at her, shock heavy on his face. Her body shook from the effort, her chest heaving as if she had given a part of her life to unleash that power. "You," his voice cracked. "What are you?" Soraya's eyes glimmered with sadness. "A mistake, a weapon. A shadow between 2 worlds," he gritted his teeth. His weapon trembled in his hand. She was too powerful, too dangerous. If she turned on him, he would not survive, yet she had saved him again. Soraya turned, her voice soft but sharp. "More will come. The sound will bring them. We must move." The human hesitated, then nodded. They climbed the ridge, their breaths heavy, the forest stretching below them like an endless sea of glowing veins. At the top, the human finally saw it, the broken remains of his ship, torn apart, burning faintly in the distance. Smoke curled into the sky like a signal fire. His chest tightened. "They will find it," he said. "My people." Soraya's face darkened. "And when they do, they will find me too." The words cut into him. He imagined his commanders. He imagined their voices. Eliminate her. Secure the area. No exceptions. But when he looked at Soraya, standing exhausted, fragile from her power, he saw not a monster. He saw someone clinging to survival just like him. He sat on a rock, staring at the smoke. His mind was a battlefield. "You keep saving me," he muttered. "Why? You gain nothing." She turned to him, her voice trembling. "I gain everything. For once I am not alone. For once someone sees me, even if only as danger." The human's heart twisted. He wanted to believe her, but belief could kill him. Before he could answer, another sound rose from the forest, distant, heavy, mechanical. The rumble of engines. He stood quickly, his eyes wide. "That's them. That's my people." Soraya's face grew pale, her body stiff with fear. "They will not listen," she whispered. "They will not care that I saved you. To them I am poison." The human's grip tightened on his weapon. His doubt grew heavier, pressing like stone. Was she right? Would his people kill her on sight? The engines grew louder. Smoke thickened in the distance. Soraya stepped closer, her voice shaking. "Please, let me stay. Let me live. Do not give me to them." The human turned to her, his heart racing, duty or mercy, order or truth. The journey had only begun, but already, the path ahead was filled with danger. both from the beasts of the forest and from the humans he once trusted. And he realized the cruel truth. The most dangerous choice was not the creatures outside. It was the one standing right before him. The engines faded in the distance, their growl swallowed by the thick forest. The human stood still, listening. His heart beat hard in his chest, but no soldiers came. Not yet. Soraya crouched near the ridge, her glowing eyes fixed on the smoke that curled above the wreckage of his ship. Her face was pale and her body trembled, not with fear of the beasts but with fear of his people. "They will come," she whispered. "Your kind never leaves the dead. They will search the wreck. They will search the trees. And when they find me, I will not be given mercy." The human clenched his jaw. His doubts grew heavier. He could almost hear his commander's voice in his head. Capture or kill any alien on sight. No questions. No exceptions. He turned to her, his voice cold. "Why? Why would they hate you so much? You're not like the beasts in the forest. You're not like the soldiers I've fought before. What are you, Soraya?" Her eyes closed, and for a moment she looked as though she wanted to remain silent forever. But then her lips parted and the words came like a wound torn open. "I am their crime," she said softly. "Their secret. A shadow they want to erase." The human frowned. "Explain." She took a slow breath, her silver skin shifting with faint patterns of light. "Long ago, before this war, before your people and mine tore the stars apart, there were those who dreamed of peace. They thought, maybe we could join. Maybe human and alien could be one. So they made me, not born of love but of science, not born to a mother but to machines." Her voice cracked, heavy with old pain. "They called me a bridge, a way to connect two races. But when I was born, both sides looked at me and saw only failure. To humans, I was too alien. To aliens, I was too human. I was neither. I was wrong." The human stared, his stomach tight. "A hybrid," he muttered. Soraya nodded, her eyes glowing brighter as tears welled. "Yes, a half-breed. A mistake. They kept me locked away, studied me, feared me. I was never a child. I was a project. A prisoner." The forest was quiet. Even the insects seemed to still at her words. Finally, the human asked, "And how did you escape?" Her lips trembled. "I was not meant to. But war changes everything. When fire fell from the skies and ships burned, I slipped away. I thought freedom would feel sweet. But it only brought hunger, fear, and running. Always running. For to both sides I am ashamed they want to forget." The human felt a weight in his chest. He had known cruelty, but not like this. His people had created her, then abandoned her. His enemies hated her too. She was not part of any world, but his suspicion sharpened again. "If you are so hated, then why risk yourself for me? Why heal me? Why stay?" Her gaze locked onto his, fierce now despite her trembling. "Because you are the first who looked at me and did not strike. The first who gave me a moment even with a weapon in your hand. You do not know what that means." He turned away, staring at the smoke rising from his broken ship. His orders were clear. His training was clear, but her story carved cracks into the steel of his belief. "You say they hate you," he muttered. "But if my people find you, they will call you dangerous. They will kill you. And if I protect you—" His voice trailed off, the weight of betrayal heavy in his throat. Soraya stepped closer. Her voice was low, but it carried power. "Then you must choose. Do you stand with those who see me as nothing, or do you stand with me and see me as I am?" The human's fist tightened. Choice, always choice. And every path seemed to lead into fire. Before he could answer, the forest stirred again. Strange howls rose in the distance, many this time, not one. The trees shook as shadows moved below. The beast had caught their trail. Soraya's body stiffened. "They come. We must leave." He nodded, snapping his weapon into place. They began to move, slipping down the ridge into the thick forest. Their steps were fast, urgent. Behind them, the howls grew louder. Branches cracked. The ground shook. The beasts were close. As they ran, Soraya spoke, her breath sharp. "Now you know what I am. You know why I beg. If they catch me, they will rip me apart. If your people catch me, they will erase me. Only you can choose if I stay alive." The human's legs burned as he pushed through the glowing moss. His mind raged. Orders or survival? Duty or truth? The woman beside him was dangerous, yes, but she was also fragile, hunted, broken. The forest opened into a clearing. Moonlight, or something like it, shone down through cracks in the sky, painting the ground with white fire. They stopped, gasping for air. The human turned, his weapon raised as shadows closed in around the edges of the clearing. Dozens of glowing eyes blinked in the darkness. Soraya stood at his side, her hands glowing faintly again. Her voice was fierce now, desperate. Whatever choice you make it now. With me or against me? But know this, alone you will not live, the beasts roared. Stepping into the light, their armored bodies glistening, their jaws wide with hunger, the human's heart thundered, and in that moment, as the predators closed in, he realized Soraya's words were not only about this night. They were about everything. To walk with her was danger. To walk without her was death. The clearing shook with roars. Dozens of beasts circled the edge, their eyes burning like cold fire. Their armored bodies gleamed under the strange light, each one stronger and faster than any human soldier. The human raised his weapon, his hands steady though his heart thundered. One bullet had done nothing before, how would it stop this many? He swallowed hard. His training told him to stand, fight, die like a soldier. But something inside whispered that this was not his fight alone. Beside him, Soraya's body glowed faintly, her hands trembling as golden light swirled between her fingers. She looked weak, almost broken, but her eyes burned with will. They know what I am, she said, her voice tight with fear. They want my blood. If they take me, they will tear me apart. The human kept his weapon aimed. Then run, she turned to him, her voice breaking. And leave you? No, I swore I would stay, even if it kills me. The beasts roared again, stepping closer. The human's chest tightened. He knew what this meant. She would fight for him. She would bleed for him. But could he do the same? Why? He asked, his voice sharp. Why do you care if I live or die? I'm nothing to you. Soraya's glowing eyes locked onto his. Because you are the only one who did not turn away. That is enough for me. The words cut through him deeper than any wound. His doubts screamed. His orders thundered in his head. Aliens are not to be trusted. Protect your kind. Destroy theirs. But looking at her, trembling yet fierce, he saw something no order could erase. Truth. The first beast lunged. The human fired, the shot exploding through the clearing. The bullet sparked against the creature's hide, barely slowing it. The human braced for death, but Soraya thrust her hands forward. A burst of golden fire shot out, slamming into the beast's chest. The monster screamed, stumbling back into the shadows. More came forward, snapping jaws and flashing claws. Soraya cried out, her light growing brighter. Each strike burned another beast, but every blast drained her strength. Her knees bent, her body shaking with exhaustion. The human stepped beside her, firing again and again, his bullets useless but his will unbroken. He would not let her stand alone. Minutes felt like hours. The clearing was chaos, roars, light, gunfire, and smoke. At last the beast drew back, snarling, retreating into the forest shadows. The clearing fell silent again, but the silence was heavy with promise. They would return. Soraya collapsed to her knees, gasping for air, her body dimming. The golden light faded from her skin, leaving only exhaustion. The human lowered his weapon, his chest heaving. He looked down at her, sweat burning his eyes. You can't keep doing this, he said, his voice rough. She raised her head weakly, her eyes shimmering. I told you. Alone you will die. With me maybe you live. He stared at her, his mind torn. He could leave her now. Walk away. When his people came, he could tell them nothing, hide her or betray her. That would be safe. That would be duty. But something inside him refused. She had saved him again and again, risking everything. And what had he given her? Nothing but doubt. The choice stood before him like a blade. At last he spoke. His voice was low but steady. If I stay with you, if I fight for you, my people will call me a traitor. They will kill me for it. Soraya's voice cracked, barely a whisper. Then let me stay. If you fall, I fall too. At least we will not be alone. The human knelt beside her, his weapon still in his hand. His doubt screamed louder than ever, but he looked into her glowing eyes and saw no trick, no lie. Only desperation. Only truth, Soraya, he said, her name heavy on his tongue. I don't trust you, but I believe you. Her lips parted, her breath shaking. Then your choice? He nodded slowly. We stand together. For a moment she was silent. Then her trembling hand touched his, her silver skin warm despite the cold air. Her eyes filled with tears, but her voice was steady. Then you have chosen danger, but you have also chosen life. The human tightened his grip on her hand. For the first time since the crash, he did not feel alone. The forest rustled again, but now the sound was not beasts. It was heavier, colder. The grind of machines, the march of soldiers. His people. Soraya's body stiffened. Fear spread across her face. "They are coming," she whispered. The human rose to his feet, weapon ready. His choice was made. He would stand with her. Against the beasts. Against the forest. Against even his own kind. The night was not over. The war inside him had only just begun. The sound of machines grew louder. Not the growls of beasts, not the whispers of the alien forest. This was sharper, colder. Metal pressing into earth, engines grinding the silence. The human's breath caught in his chest. He knew that sound. His people, soldiers. Through the glowing trees, lights flickered like falling stars. Figures in dark armor stepped into the clearing, rifles raised, helmets glowing with red visors. They moved with perfect discipline, weapons sweeping the shadows. "Hold your fire," a voice barked through a speaker. The commander, the human, froze, weapon in his hand. Beside him, Soraya stood weak, her silver skin dim, her body trembling after the fight with the beasts. She looked smaller now, fragile, her glow fading into the night. The commander stepped forward, his armor heavier than the others, his voice sharp. "Soldier, you survived the crash. Report." The human straightened, his heart pounding. "Yes, sir." The pod went down. Hostile environment. Beasts in the forest. I held position. The commander's red visor glowed as he scanned the clearing. His gaze stopped on Soraya. "What is that?" His voice cut like steel. The human's grip tightened on his weapon. He felt Soraya's eyes on him, begging without words. "She saved me," he said, his voice low. The soldiers shifted uneasily. A few raised their rifles toward Soraya. "She is alien," the commander snapped. "Protocol is clear. Eliminate the threat." "No." The word escaped the human before he could stop it. His chest burned as every eye turned toward him. The commander's visor tilted. "Repeat that, soldier." The human swallowed hard, his weapon still in his hand. "She's not a threat. She healed me. She fought the beasts. Without her, I'd be dead." "She is not human," the commander growled. "She is corruption. A weapon of the enemy. Do you forget your orders? Do you forget who you serve?" The soldiers raised their rifles higher, lasers locking onto Soraya's chest. She stood still, her eyes glowing faintly with fear and sorrow. "Please," she whispered, her voice breaking. "Do not let them erase me." The human's heart thundered. His weapon shook in his hand. He looked at his people, his brothers, his comrades, and then at Soraya, the alien woman who had saved him again and again. Duty screamed in his head, but something louder roared in his heart. Truth. He stepped between her and the rifles. "Stand down," he ordered. The soldiers froze, confusion in their stances. The commander barked, "You dare defy me?" "She is not our enemy," the human said, louder now. "She wants only to live. If we kill her, then we are no better than the beasts in this forest." The commander raised his own rifle, the red glow burning brighter. "You are blind, soldier. She is a hybrid." "A mistake. Our scientists made her, and then they cast her aside." "Do you not see? She should not exist." Soraya flinched, her head bowing in shame. The human's blood boiled. "She exists. She saved me. That is enough," the commander's voice thundered. "You are a traitor." The human's finger brushed the trigger of his weapon. Every breath was a storm inside him. One wrong move and fire would rain. The silence cracked. A soldier fired. The shot blazed past his shoulder, striking the ground near Soraya's feet. She gasped, stumbling back. The rifles clicked, ready to fire again. The human turned, fury flooding his veins. He raised his weapon, not at Soraya, but at his own people. "Stand down," he roared. The soldiers hesitated, the weight of betrayal heavy in the air. The commander's visor glowed. "So be it," he hissed. "You die with her." The clearing erupted in fire. Shots lit the night, tearing through trees, sparking against stone. The human dove pulling Soraya with him. He fired back, the blast knocking a soldier to the ground. The air filled with smoke and light, screams and thunder. Soraya's hands glowed weakly, her body shaking as she tried to summon power. Golden sparks flickered, striking one soldier's rifle, melting it in his hands. But the effort broke her. She collapsed, gasping. The human shielded her, bullets flying past. He fired again, rage driving him forward. These were his people, his brothers. But they had chosen death over mercy. And he had chosen her. Minutes bled into chaos. One by one, soldiers fell. Some burned by Soraya's fading light, others struck by his rifle. The forest itself seemed to roar, branches cracking, ground shaking under the weight of violence. At last, silence fell again. The clearing was littered with smoke and bodies. The human stood, chest heaving, weapon hot in his hands. His people lay broken around him. Soraya rose weakly, her silver skin dim, her eyes heavy with sorrow. You fought them, your own kind. The human looked at the dead, his heart heavy with guilt. They gave me no choice. Soraya's hand touched his arm, soft, trembling. Now you are hunted too. You chose me, and the rest of your kind will never forgive you. He met her gaze, his voice rough. Then I will walk with you, whatever comes. The forest whispered again, alive with unseen eyes. More soldiers would come. More beasts would hunt. But his choice was made. He was no longer only a soldier of his people. He was something else now. Something dangerous. And at his side stood Soraya, the alien woman who begged to stay. Together, they had crossed the line. The forest smelled of smoke and blood. The human stood among the fallen soldiers, his chest heaving, his weapon hot and empty in his hand. At his side, Soraya swayed weakly, her silver skin dim, her glow fading with every breath. Above them, the sky split with light, ships, human dropships, their engines screaming as they descended toward the wreck. They're coming, the human muttered. His voice was hoarse, heavy with guilt and rage. And this time, they'll bring more. Soraya's glowing eyes lifted toward the sky. Her voice was soft, filled with sorrow. They will not forgive you. You killed your own. You chose me. He looked at her, his face hard but his eyes raw. I didn't choose you. I chose the truth. The forest trembled with the landing of metal feet. Dozens of soldiers poured into the trees, their visors glowing red, rifles ready. The human tightened his grip on his weapon, though he knew it was useless now. His ammo was gone. Soraya stepped forward, her hands trembling with faint golden sparks. I have little left. One last burst, perhaps, but it will burn me out. The human shook his head sharply. No, you've given enough. If anyone burns tonight, it's me. Her lips trembled, her voice breaking. Do not waste your life for mine. I am nothing, he cut her off, his voice fierce. You are not nothing. You are more human than they'll ever be. The words struck her like light. For a heartbeat, she stood taller, her glow flickering brighter. The soldiers surrounded the clearing. The commander was gone, but another officer's voice boomed through the speakers. Soldier, stand down! Step away from the alien and you may live. The human raised his empty weapon anyway, standing between Soraya and the rifles. If you want her, he shouted, you'll have to kill me first. Laughter echoed from the soldiers, cold, mechanical. Then fire erupted. The clearing blazed with gunfire, red beams tearing through the night. The human dove dragging Soraya behind cover. Sparks flew as shots struck stone and metal. He fired his last bullet. It struck nothing, vanishing into smoke. Soraya clutched his arm, her voice desperate. Let me give my light. Together, maybe we break them. He looked into her glowing eyes. They were tired, broken, yet still burning with hope. He nodded. Then we stand. One last time. They rose together. Soraya's hands flared with golden fire, brighter than ever before. The human lifted his weapon like a blade, though it was empty. They charged into the storm of light. The first wave of soldiers fell, blinded by Soraya's burst. Golden beams burned through rifles, melted armor, shattered visors. The human struck like a storm, swinging, kicking, fighting with nothing but rage and will. But the soldiers kept coming. Endless. Relentless. Soraya screamed as the power tore through her body, her light shaking the forest itself. Trees split, the ground cracked, shadows burned away. She staggered, nearly falling, but the human caught her, holding her upright. You're not alone, he shouted over the thunder. Not anymore! Together they unleashed chaos. Minutes or hours passed in fire and fury. The clearing became a graveyard of smoke and ash. Still the soldiers came, their numbers endless. At last Soraya fell to her knees, her glow flickering, almost gone. I cannot... Hold it, she gasped. This is the end. The human knelt beside her, his chest burning, blood running down his side. He took her hand, gripping it tight. Then we ended together. She looked at him, her eyes soft despite the chaos. I begged you to let me stay. And you did. That is more than anyone ever gave me. He held her closer, his voice raw. You gave me more too. More than any command, any duty. You gave me truth. The soldiers closed in, their rifles raised, their shadows stretching long across the broken ground. The human stood again, pulling Soraya to her feet. Together, side by side, they faced the endless line of guns, and in that moment the forest fell silent. Time itself seemed to pause, the red glow of rifles reflecting in Soraya's dim eyes. "Ready?" he whispered. She nodded weakly. "Always." The soldiers fired. The clearing vanished in blinding light. When the smoke cleared, only silence remained. The bodies of soldiers lay still. The forest glowed faintly under the broken sky. No one knew if the human and the alien woman survived that final storm. Some say they fell together, their bodies lost to the forest. Others whisper they escaped into the shadows, never seen again but always watching. What is certain is this. In that night, one soldier chose not orders, not duty, but truth. And beside him stood an alien who wanted only to stay. Together they made their final stand.